old Malegaon blast case. The verdict will be out any time now. The big breaking news of the hour is that the judge has said that there's a huge difference between ATS and NIA charges. The prosecution failed to prove bomb placed on a motorcycle. Remember, the motorcycle was named, in fact registered under Sadhvi Pragya, because of which she was initially involved in the case and in that accused list as well. She was blamed for providing the vehicle to conduct this particular blast and also being part of the larger conspiracy of attacking Muslims. Also joining us here on broadcast at News9, Mr. Dubey, thank you so much for speaking to us. We are waiting for the verdict, but what are your expectations, your opening comments on that?
हम भी 17 साल के बाद इस निर्णय का इंतजार ही कर रहे हैं कि क्या होने वाला है। देखिए, दो चीज होता है। एक तो जब कोई निर्णय आता है तो उसमें एक चीज का ध्यान रखना पड़ता है कि कहीं कोई निर्दोष तो इसमें नहीं फंसा हुआ था, या कभी कभी ऐसा आता है कि निर्णय तो निर्दोष के पक्ष में आ जाता है, लेकिन फिर उसके जो साल बीते होते हैं उसका कोई भुगतान नहीं कर पाता। तो अब इसमें क्या है क्या नहीं, ये सब सामने आएगा तो ही मालूम पड़ेगा। बट इसमें जो हमें लग रहा है कि जो जिन्हें आरोपी बताया गया वो कह रहे हैं कि हम निर्दोष है, तो ठीक है, थोड़ी देर में फैसला आएगा। अगर निर्दोष है, इतने साल उन्होंने सजा जो भोगी उसका भरपाई कौन करेगा? तो ये सब सारी चीजें हैं। अब जब तक निर्णय सामने नहीं आता, इस पर क्या कहें? हम तो सिर्फ इंतजार कर सकते हैं कि एग्जैक्टली ये 17 साल बाद ये निर्णय क्या आने वाला है। अगर निर्णय ये आता है कि सब दोषी हैं।
मिस्टर दुबे, बड़ी बात यहाँ पे ये भी है ना, 2011 में जब NIA केस टेक ओवर करता है और जब विटनेसेस से वापस स्टेटमेंट लिए जाते हैं और 40 विटनेसेस जो हैं उसमें वो हॉस्टाइल हो जाते हैं, तो एक बड़ा प्रश्न चिन्ह तो वहां पे भी बनता है।
तो वही हम कह रहे हैं ना कि अब कोर्ट का निर्णय आने दीजिए। निर्णय आने के बाद ही पता चलेगा हुआ क्या था। महामहिम सुप्रीम कोर्ट, हाई कोर्ट, लोअर कोर्ट, सेशन कोर्ट, हम सभी का बहुत सम्मान करते हैं, बट कोर्ट का निकाल जब तक नहीं आएगा, जब तक उसका निर्णय नहीं आएगा, तो क्या कहें हम, बताइए।
और ये जो कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन जिसके बारे में जज बात कर रहे हैं कि ATS और NIA की जो चार्जशीट्स हैं उनमें कुछ डिफरेंसेस थे, इस बारे में आपका क्या कहना है?
तो अभी एजेंसियां क्या कर रही हैं क्या नहीं कर रही, इस पर भी जांच होनी चाहिए। निर्णय के बाद पता चलेगा कि अगर ये सब दोषी हैं तो फिर मतलब दोषी हैं तो क्या इनका इन्वॉल्वमेंट था, निर्दोष है तो क्यों दोषी हुए थे। अब ये जब तक कुछ आएगा नहीं, हम इस पर कुछ कह नहीं सकते। सिर्फ हम इंतजार करने से, आप देख रहे हैं वैसे हम देख रहे हैं।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। दुबे जी, हमसे जुड़ने के लिए, हमसे बात करने के लिए आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। द बिग ब्रेकिंग न्यूज इज आउट, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन। वी आर रिसीविंग सम इनपुट्स कमिंग इन स्ट्रेट फ्रॉम आवर सोर्सेज. We are learning that the judge has said that there is a huge difference between ATS and NIA charge sheet. The prosecution failed to prove that bomb was actually placed on a motorcycle. There's no evidence of storage of RDX at Lieutenant Colonel Purohit's house. Also that there's no evidence RDX being brought by him from Kashmir. So these are some of the staggering breaking news coming in with regards to 17-year-old Malegaon blast case. The judge has spoken. The initial reports of the statement coming in from judge, we have it here for the viewers joining us on News9. For those who have just joined us, the big verdict will be out today in a short while from now. Speaking about the accused in the Malegaon blast case, we've been waiting for this big verdict for 17 long years. Today, we will see whether those who have been accused will walk out free or not. But at the moment, the initial statement from judge is out that we have collected here for the viewers of News9. We have received that the judge has said that there has been contamination of evidence. Bike does not belong to Sadhvi Pragya. Remember, she was blamed for providing the vehicle, the very vehicle which was used for carrying out the bombs to conduct the blast in Malegaon. Now the judge has said that bike does not belong to Sadhvi Pragya. There has been a contamination of evidence with regards to Lieutenant Colonel Purohit and his involvement in the case. The judge has said that there is no direct proof to say that the RDX came from Kashmir or through him or he provided the RDX.
Record. So I think, and one more question you are asking, I think that your reporter could not understand. What about the victims who were killed in this case? That is also to be seen, because victims of this case might have been a victim because of some other persons who could not be traced by NIA. and these innocent people have been booked in this case, maybe because of any reason or maybe political. And I must appreciate the...
Mr. Rao, my apologies for interrupting you over there. BJP leader Atul Bhatkalkar is joining us on the broadcast. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to News9. The big verdict is out. Your thoughts on that?
We wholeheartedly welcome this decision by the court acquitting the all so-called accused and accused. First of all, this basically unearthed the whole conspiracy hatched by then Congress government to tag Hindu society as a terrorist. The word used by Chidambaram, then Home Minister, saffron terrorism, and that's why this verdict has once again exposed the conspiracy theory and hatred of Congress towards Hindu community.
Absolutely. Also, Mr. Bhatkalkar, if I could ask you about the 17 long years that these accused now who have been acquitted had to wait for just to hear this particular verdict. Also, the tag that they got of, spreading saffron terror. The judge, the court has very categorically mentioned that terrorism has no color or religion. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So my demand is that who has this conspiracy, that should be now investigated. As far as this Malegaon bomb blast case is concerned, first Sharad Pawar raised the issue and he openly, publicly stated that bomb blast took place in masjid. And how can Maharashtra police are arresting Muslim people? And that statement had given clear-cut direction to the police. And then police started arresting these all Hindu people. Then case was taken over by then government's NIA. NIA acquitted earlier Muslim accused and they filed the charge sheet against Sadhvi, Pragya Thakur and all others. And so who has this conspiracy? That should be investigated. Who tried to Malegaon Hindu society for their own political purpose? That should be inquired. That is my demand.
Inquiry will happen, but according to you, sir, who should be pinned down here in this case? Who should be blamed?
See, that time political masters who pressurized. There is one book by that time Home Deputy Secretary Mani regarding all these cases, that how he was pressurized, how Digvijay Singh asked them to color this as a saffron terrorism. So everything is on record. And so that should be investigated now, and then we can decide who actually the brain behind all this conspiracy.
Mr. Bhatkalkar, I also want to ask you a question here that the court has mentioned that 2 lakh will be given to the victim's family. It should be given to their family. 2 lakh rupees, 17 saal ka wait. I mean, what do you think about that?
Court has given its own verdict, and nobody has gone through the details of the verdict. But definitely government will work on that.
All right, Mr. Bhatkalkar, thank you so much for joining us for the conversation here at News9 and speaking to us, providing your perspective, of course. Brijesh, now let me come to you. This is the word that our sources have told, that the court has said that 2 lakh rupees will be given to the victim's family. So I am just asking, 2 lakh rupees, they also waited for 17 years for this verdict, Brijesh. 2 lakh rupees is just nothing.
I think, more than the amount of money, I think, it is not only in cash, but also in kind. I mean, it is 17 years of ruined reputation. It is 17 years of being, being labeled and held as a terrorist. It is 17 years of the kind of trauma you undergo, the investigation, the questioning. So there's so much that, that money, no amount of money can compensate for this 17 years of this trauma being inflicted or being part of this entire terror attack, as it was said. I think, the compensation amount can be several times more than what is being announced by the court. But yes, I would say that, you know, it would be a huge sigh of relief for the entire family that they have been, all the loved ones have been acquitted. You know, there are several loopholes which have been pointed out by the special court, which is talking about how, you know, the prosecution failed to collect evidences properly. The sanctions which were given were also done without the application of mind, as said by the Honorable Court. So there are various issues and various loopholes related to investigation, which was pointed out by court, which the judge said that forced the court to look at to acquit all the accused involved in this particular case. I think, you know, this is the legal part of it, but there is also a political part of it, Sakshi. Yesterday, Home Minister Amit Shah talked about that, how Congress was talking about saffron terror. They tried to bring religion to it. And I think with today's verdict, I think the intensity of attack by the Bharatiya Janata Party on Congress, of how they wanted to bring in religion into this, into terrorism, and as also said by the court, that terrorism has no color or religion. I think that the BJP will just up the ante as far as taking on Congress vis-a-vis the term saffron terror is alleged. Sakshi?
Are we expecting some fireworks coming in from the parliament as well on the same?
Well, absolutely. I think, I mean, as the detailed copy of the judgment will be available, there would be fireworks as far as Parliament is concerned. I think the BJP is going to go very aggressive. Shiv Sena Shinde is going to get very aggressive on this particular case which has come out, because you know, they have always been accusing of the Congress party of coining this term saffron terror, and they said that this is something which is not there, which should not have done, as terrorism has no religion, terrorism has no color. And I think with this judgment and the observation of the court, they will definitely try to take on the Congress party as far as Malegaon blast case is concerned.
So we are expecting SIR. So we are expecting SIR versus Malegaon happening today, Brijesh.
Can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, we are expecting SIR versus Malegaon happening in the parliament. I think I'm inaudible to Brijesh. We'll try to reconnect those lines and fix that. But let me quickly introduce former ADG Maharashtra Police PK Jain, also joining us here on the broadcast. Mr. Jain, thank you so much for speaking to News9. The big verdict is out, sir, and the court has very categorically mentioned that terrorism has no religion or color. Your thoughts on that?
Me here, absolutely correct. In fact, the investigation was a little under cloud right from the beginning. 2 charge sheets having been filed by 2 different agencies, and subsequently also the charges under MCOCA sought to be dropped. There were so many ifs and buts in the entire investigation, and the judgment has been pronounced today. I was of the opinion right through that not only 2008, even 2006 case was pinned on the same accused, unfortunately. The investigation was carried out very thoroughly by 3-4 different agencies, and a set of accused has been charge sheeted. But the government, in its own wisdom, withdrew the cases and discharged all those original accused in 2006 case, and made these accused in the alleged accused in 2008 case also the accused in 2006 blast case. So I think the court has held very accurately that the evidence was not proper, the evidence was planted, and the acquittal has taken place. I think justice has been served in this particular case, though it has been a big trauma and big punishment to the accused, who underwent the same trauma for a good long 17 years. That's all I can say at this stage. Actually.
Absolutely. Speaking about the trauma, sir, we have picked up from our sources. Our team has been tracking all the updates here for the viewers of News9. Let me just quickly tell it to our viewers that Sadhvi...
Surprise! Kinder Joy! Hello, Princess Jasmine. Wow! अब डिज्नी प्रिंसेस के टॉय सरप्राइजेस हर किंडर जॉय में।
रास्ता है वही शहर।
तू कब आया अभी लाइफ से?
अरे वाह ताई, पहचान गई? शहर जाके आँख का ऑपरेशन करा लिया क्या?
शहर जाए मेरी जूती। नहीं, यहीं अपने गांव में ही करवा लिया। वो जो सूरज है ना अपना वो सब कर रहा है।
अरे राकेश, अरे वाह छोटी, ये स्कूल में सीखा?
इंटरनेट पे।
इंटरनेट?
हाँ, सूरज भैया है ना।
कौन है ये सूरज भैया?
आपको उनसे मिलना है क्या?
हाँ
चलो, वो रहे सूरज भैया।
हम सूरज से सिर्फ बिजली नहीं बनाते हैं, खुशहाली को देश के कोने कोने तक भी पहुंचाते हैं। अदानी, हम करके दिखाते हैं।
About to acquit. That is the observations which have been, and definitely these persons, they cannot forget the ordeal of the continuous trial of 17 years and defamation. You can say that they have been defamed by the by involving them in this case, and that cannot be regained by any you can say any amount of money which is to be paid to them. Definitely, and now they must be feeling a sigh of relief, and this verdict will definitely wash out their image, which have been tarnished by this case.
Sharma, I have taken over from my colleague Sakshi Latoria, and just to take our viewers through what has happened is that in the Malegaon blaze, which happened in 2000, the UPA2 regime has taken a dramatic and a very important turn. The verdict that was announced a short while ago has given clean chit to the all 2008 Malegaon blast accused, 7 of them by the National Investigative Authority Agency's court. Sadhvi Pragya Thakur, who went on to become MP, Lieutenant Colonel Purohit, who had to face a lot of legal music, they had all been given clean chit. Now all accused have been acquitted. It's a very important case because this spawned the entire controversy of saffron terror, which acquired a lot of political overtones in 2014. Let me tell you, even the Home Minister Amit Shah in Rajya Sabha in his reply said that no, Hindu can be a terrorist. Now I'm joined by Krishna Hegde from Shiv Sena Shinde. Mr. Hegde, your opening comments on all of them being given a clean chit by the court, the benefit of doubt in the entire case, sir.
No, we are very happy that the NIA court has given this verdict because at last justice has been done. And what the Congress party and UPA had said earlier about saffron terror, that entire thing has fallen flat. And I'm extremely happy that Sadhvi Pragya Thakur, Col Prasad Purohit, and retired Major Ramesh Upadhyay, who are among the 7 accused, they have been acquitted now by the court honorably, and I must say that it is a victory. It is a victory for the truth, and the truth always prevails. And whatever the sinister designs of the Congress party of that time to paint, nationalists as terrorists has been exposed, and I think we should all welcome this decision. And I must say that I condemn the Congress act at that time. It is very necessary that this entire truth came out in public domain today. Like Amit Shah ji said yesterday in the parliament, that no Hindu can be a terrorist.
Okay, Mr. Krishna Hegde, very well put. But let me just take my viewers through the detailing of this case. The detailing is very, very important. What happened in Malegaon? Why had Malegaon caught so much of attention in the public discourse? The Malegaon had caught so much of public attention in the public discourse was because Malegaon blast had acquired political overtones. When Malegaon blast took place, the fight became about saffron terror. Rajnath Singh categorically stated that there is no color to the terror, and it became a political fight. Pragya Singh Thakur, Lieutenant Colonel Prasad Purohit, retired Major Ramesh Upadhyay, Ajay Rahirkar, Samir Kulkarni, Sudhakar Chaturvedi, Sudhakar Dhar Vivedi, all cleared of the charges including criminal conspiracy and murder under the Indian Penal Code in the section of the Anti-Terror Law, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. The Special Judge J.K. Lahoti, who pronounced the all 7 not guilty, noted that the prosecution proved the blast but failed to establish that a bomb was fitted in the motorcycle. Conspiracy and meeting also have not been proved. Interception of calls not authorized. Both sanctions ordered to invoke are defective. UAPA cannot be invoked, the court said categorically. The court said that the prosecution failed to provide cogent and reliable evidence, also failed to establish guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. There might be strong suspicion against the accused, but it is not enough to punish them, said the court. The court also ordered compensation of 2 lakh to the families of 2008 Malegaon bomb blast victim and 50,000 to the injured victims to be given by the government. Now, the detailed order of the court is yet to be available. On September 29, 2008, a bomb went off at the Chowk in Malegaon, a town known for powerloom industry, about 100 kilometers northeast of Nashik in Maharashtra. The blast, which took place in an area with a sizable Muslim population, killed 6 people, injured 100 during Ramzan, the holy month of fasting in Islam. This is the context. Now we will take the bite of the law of one of the victims.
जो 17 साल पहले जो एविडेंस था, उसी तरह जो 2016 में NIA का चार्जशीट आया था, उसमें जो कोई भी मटेरियल था उसी के बेस पे आज कोर्ट ने फैसला सुनाया है। कोर्ट ने ये कहा है कि इस केस में RDX कहाँ से लाया गया, किसने लाया, कहाँ बॉम्ब असेंबल किए, RDX कहाँ प्लांट किया गया था, ऐसे कोई भी चीजें प्रोसिक्यूशन प्रूव नहीं कर पाई है।
ये सिर्फ पॉलिटिकल नरेशन था और कुछ भी नहीं था, और जो आपका जो आतंकवाद का विषय था ऐसा कोई विषय है नहीं, और कोर्ट ने आज साबित कर दिया है कि 17 साल के बाद कि ये कोई घटना इन लोगों से की गई नहीं है।
I'm also joined by my input editor Brijesh Pandey. Brijesh, now there are a lot of things here. Let's start by the politics of it. I'm also joined by Reni Abraham. Reni Abraham continues to be with me. PK Jain, former ADG Maharashtra Police, also continues to be with me. I'll also be joined by Ellen Rao, former IPS officer. But first to you. Now, just take us through the politics of this story. Why did this case of terror acquire so much of political dimension?
Well, I think the one phrase which has now become a part of the, the BJP's lexicon, which is the saffron terror. You know, the second the term saffron terror was used, it was very clear that, that this terror attack and, the entire investigation acquired more than, the technical investigation which is carried out. It acquired political overtures which drifted towards that, that the Congress is trying to fix the Bharatiya Janata Party. That is how, the entire investigation was perceived. I think this judgment, which has been read by the Honorable Court, in which he has acquitted all the 7 accused, it is going to be a huge victory for the Bharatiya Janata Party as well. If you remember, yesterday Home Minister Amit Shah was talking about in Rajya Sabha, he was talking about the way this terror attack in Pahalgam was concerned, and he also went on to mention that that the Congress is a party which gave a color or added a religion to the terror attack, and mentioned this saffron terrorism which was used in Malegaon blast context. And he also talked about one sentence which is now which sinks in perfectly, where he says no Hindu can be a terrorist. The court also mentioned that that the terrorism can't have color or religion attached to it. So there's going to be a bigger political ramification of the judgment which has come out as far as Malegaon judgment cases, Malegaon blast case is concerned.
Okay, Reni, it's a big development. Yesterday Home Minister also made a very important statement. We're going to play out that bite. We're going to play out that bite in which the Home Minister very categorically spoke about terrorism and Hindus. But Reni, to you, I think it's a big blow to the politics which the UPA did. I think the court setting them free is like saying that, boss, you were going after them to prove a different point.
Sorry, I missed that last bit from you, Karthik. The audio volume was not great.
It discredits the politics of UPA, the judgment.
Absolutely, Karthikeya. And if I may add here, to quote a former Home Secretary, Additional Chief Secretary Home of Maharashtra, Chitkala Zuchi, as she mentioned to me once, he said, Reni, we must understand that the police department is mostly only a handmaiden to the political dispensation of the day, which was a very telling point here. We have seen the ATS being, proved wrong in the second consecutive case, in the serial train bombing blast case of 2006, and now in the 2008 Malegaon bomb blast case. So it just tells you how political pressure can be brought to bear upon the investigative agencies, and which results in so years later the accused getting set free, and the victims of the two incidents sitting and holding their head in anguish about when they would finally be able to get some justice. So
just stay with me, just stay with me, Reni. I'm also joined by Manisha Kayande, Shinde faction Shiv Sena. She's patched with me. Manisha, thank you so much, madam, for joining me. Your opening comments, madam.
Well, of course, we welcome the decision of the court, the verdict of the court. After 17 long years of fight, and the then Congress government first coined the word Hindu terrorism, saffron terrorism. And this is what they spread in the country, blaming Hinduism, blaming Hindus, and also making them terrorists, so labeling them as terrorists. But this is what the court's verdict, we welcome it, and we are happy that those who were under the scanner, they are free. None of them, any evidence was found on them, and hence the court has set them free. We welcome this decision.
What do you have to say when the word saffron terror was used? Now, what will the Congress party say about this?
Well, the Congress has to reply that.
No,
if
absolutely.
You have their person
because they weaponized
board,
it. That's why I'm asking you, because they said, it's saffron terror. That's the word which came. Yesterday even Amit Shah spoke about it.
Yes, because it was Congress for the first time in the country, because terrorism was never linked to Hinduism, and which they tried to label Hindus as Hindu outfits, as terrorist outfits. Because in our country, we know that who has always supported terrorism, which fraction, which people of which religion have supported terrorism, and this is well known to everybody. But still, they coined this word as saffron terrorism. So I think that it is also a good lesson to the Congress. They should learn from it.
Brijesh, Reni Abraham continues to be with me. Brijesh Pandey continues to be with me in the studio. Brijesh, if we go through certain aspects of this case, now let's go point by point. They said in this case, the court said the prosecution failed to provide cogent and reliable evidence, that's one. Also failed to establish guilt beyond reasonable doubt, that's second. There might be strong suspicion against the accused, but it is not enough to punish them, said the court. I would like you to explain that first, sir.
Well, I think, one of the two key charges which were against, the most famous one of all the accused which were involved there, Sadhvi Pragya Singh Thakur and Lieutenant Colonel Prasad Purohit. The fact is that, it was alleged that the bike which was used for the blast belonged to Sadhvi Pragya. This was one of the contention, and the second contention was that RDX was brought from Jammu and Kashmir. It was assembled at the house of Lieutenant Colonel Purohit, and then it was utilized. The court made three observations which completely debunked the theory. First, the court said there is a big difference between the ATS and the NIA charge sheet. So that in itself was an extremely important statement. The second statement is said that the prosecution failed to prove that the bomb was placed on the motorcycle or bomb was in the motorcycle. So, one of the key contention was that the bomb was placed on the motorcycle was completely denied by the court. The second was, they said that the more important thing was that there is no evidence of three things. A, that the RDX was brought from Kashmir by Lieutenant Colonel Purohit. B, that the bomb was assembled, the RDX was used inside Lieutenant Colonel Purohit's house. And then C, then the same was supplied to the bomb was used to put it on the motorcycle. The third one was that they say that they were not able to retrieve the session number of the motorcycle, which again could not prove that who was the real owner of the motorcycle which was there. So I think, and they also said that, that the sanctions which were taken, because, to make sure that there is no abuse of the process of law, there are certain sanctions which are there. There are SOPs which are laid so that you go and get sanctioned and interrogate and investigate somebody legally. Those sanctions were not obtained legally. The court told about that. And then the court said that, that there may be strong suspicion. But you cannot hold somebody guilty just on the basis of strong suspicion. So I think these were the key verdicts, key pointers of the judgment which has come out so far. I think once the entire judgment is out, it will take some time. It'll make for a fascinating read for sure.
Okay. Now I'm joined by Brijmohan Srivastava. NCP Ajit Pawar faction. He has been passed. Mr. Srivastav, your opening comments on the Malegaon verdict, sir?
Hello.
Yes, your opening comments, sir. Brijmohan ji.
Simply, we welcome the verdict given by the court, and it's a long-awaited decision for which everybody is waiting. Court has given thorough decision on it. Investigating agencies has worked very hard, and that whatever facts they got, they present in the court, and court has given order of seeing those facts and the proofs which will be provided by the investigating agencies.
Okay, investigative agency. Sir, court also very categorically said that the link was not properly established. They in fact, sir, questioned also the shoddy investigation, sir. The court.
Actually, the investigating whatever proof they got, they produced in the court, and therefore the court has taken this decision. So now, I think it's nothing more to say on this decision, but it is a long-awaited decision which came today, and because court has given this order, so we are welcoming that order also.
Thank you so much, sir. Reni, you were completing your point that it will affect Congress position in context of the saffron terror. But do you think that this issue is important, or there is a consensus that this this was a bogey of the BJP has politically neutralized it in 2014 and 2019, and we are actually talking about a dead political horse, done and dusted cases. It's like saying that let's reinvent ourselves in OBC politics, but people have done it in 1989. Reni.
You're dead right on that, Karthikeya. This is mostly about the narrative that was played out at different government dispensations. So the UPA government, and if this is classically, you must relate to the case of the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi himself. There was a narrative played out about him being a serious accused and all. It took him years to fight the case and go up to the Supreme Court level and finally get cleared and exonerated of any wrongdoings of the Gujarat riots case. So you must understand that subsequently even NGO Teesta Setalwar operated NGO was booked, and she was accused of playing the narrative on behalf of the Congress, with Ahmed Patel's name figuring out in terms of having financed her to be taking narratives like this. So, Karthikeya, as I pointed out earlier on the show, the fact of the matter is that the former Additional Chief Secretary Home of Maharashtra, Chitkala Zuchi, told me very simply and candidly, said, Reni, the police department is only the handmaiden of the political class in power. So, that is what we have seen recently, be it the serial train bomb blast case of 2006, where the ATS of Mumbai had arrested 12 accused and booked and tried them, and after 19 years, the Bombay High Court acquitted all 12 of them. And similarly, for the Malegaon case, 2 years later, the ATS had similarly, arrested and booked so many accused, including Sadhvi Pragya Thakur, as also Lieutenant Colonel Purohit. And what has come about it? So, somewhere we need to get into systemic reforms to ensure that police investigations are sanitized from political interference, is the inference I would draw from this quite simply. The fact of the matter is that these things do not make society at large comfortable about how things proceed when such dastardly incidents take place. You will agree with me, Karthik. I mean, loss of lives, and for the victims' families to years later find that the booked accused have been set free doesn't send out a very positive message of comfort for society.
You stay with me. I'm joined by Smita Mishra, journalist who wrote a book, Lieutenant Colonel, The Man Betrayed. Thank you, Smita, for joining me. Smita wrote this book. And when Smita wrote this book, she also got hounded for writing this book. She got hounded for writing this book. So my first question to you, Smita, is, When you wrote the book, Lieutenant Colonel Purohit, what prompted you to write the book, Smita?
Yes, Kartikeya. Actually, I wrote this book because as a news reporter, I had covered this entire saga of the various terror cases, blasts and otherwise, where people had been picked up and a watertight case had been prepared, be it Samjhauta blast, be it Malegaon, be it certain others. And then when there are confessions, when there are people accepting they did it, when Simi and Indian Mujahideen were running amok in this country, threatening and attacking all our cities, suddenly those cases fall like a pack of cards and all of them are labeled as Hindu terror. Now, the most important among them, why I wrote on Colonel Purohit and on Malegaon is because it is Malegaon and Colonel Purohit who were made the face of Hindu terror. The others were labeled as Hindu terror at a later stage. It started with Colonel Purohit. Why Colonel Purohit? Because you won't find a better example, to set up a narrative, to create a false equivalence against jihadi terror, which was at its peak in those days. There is a diehard patriot, a serving army officer, an intelligence officer who has penetrated so deep into the terror, the jihadi network, that he has all their information because of his merit as an intel officer. So you on the one hand, you remove him from the tracks because he has become a threat and he has found that connection of the jihadi terror network with the government of the political establishment of the day. Secondly, you go to the whole world and show that, look, Hindu terror is more dangerous than Islamic terror and India needs to be worried. And the entire focus is shifted to this new bogey that has been created. Now, all that has been in the discussion, in the discourse for some years. So why did I have to write about it? Simply because whenever I would look at the internet, when I would try to go through the details of the case, you would find n number of material available online and otherwise offline, where people talk about the Hindu terror being such a big threat and the cases of Hindu terror. But there was not a line available anywhere authentically. I'm not talking of political bayanbazi. Authentic on the merits of the case, which could prove that this is a conspiracy, it's a bogey. So I thought, in a matter of 6 or 7 years, people have started forgetting these details. They have started forgetting Colonel Purohit and what happened in those days in 2008. Already, it was put on record that there was an effort to build the Mumbai terror attack, the biggest terror attack in Indian soil so far, as Hindu terror. Just one more line. So
I just want to add one more thing. Smita, I just want to ask you, I've known you as a journalist, we have covered Parliament together. I really want to ask you, when you were researching the book on Colonel Purohit, do you think that, it was a conspiracy to frame him? Because, when we say, they were framed, odd people don't frame them. The basic nature of conspiracy is that powerful people can only frame. Common bloke don't get to frame other people. They can only accuse, by the semantics of it. You can only accuse each other. Framing is done.
Honda CB350 Highness. Lead the world.
Across the LOC in Pakistan with Lashkar-e-Taiba, he had also been able to, in the course of his work, he had been able to get an idea, to get details of the connection it had with the political establishment of the day, both in Mumbai and New Delhi, mind you. So it was killing many birds with one stone. On the one hand, you remove this man, unko raste se hata do. Secondly, you get this political narrative to tom-tom to the world, creating a false equivalence of Hindu terror. And thirdly, you make the real threat to India's security, the terror, look like small here. So, what happens?
Smita,
if you read my book, you will realize that the entire thing was prepared like a very, very well prepared, a meticulous film script, with all the drama and all the conspiracy and all the games, how to plant the evidence, how to bring out those people who were closest to Colonel Purohit to testify against him in court. So all this was done. Unfortunately, this was not a movie. It concerned real people, real lives, 9 years of a serving, patriotic, decorated army officer wasted. He would have gone to the highest rank of the army by going by his caliber. Had this case not, come on the way. His family, a woman of steel, Dr. Aparna Purohit, one must know what that woman has gone through, fighting for justice, running from pillar to post. And two very young boys growing up without their father, despite having a father.
Smita, you catch your breath. Let me play out some important political bites. Ujjwal Nikam and many other lawmakers from Parliament have spoken on this issue. Let me play out those bites and then I'll go to my guest, Smita Mishra, Brijesh Pandey, Reni Abraham in Mumbai. All of them. Let me play out the bite.
क्या इन्वेस्टिगेशन में खामियां थी और किसकी गलती कहाँ हुई ये देखना था। पर कोर्ट का जो प्राइमरी ऑब्जर्वेशन मैंने सुना है उसके आधार पर ये कहूँगा कि बड़े बड़े जो गवाहदार थे वो मुकर गए। और दूसरी बात कोर्ट ने ये कही कि जो केस सर्कमटेंशियल एविडेंस में थी वो चेन ऑफ सर्कमटेंसेस प्रोसिक्यूशन एस्टैब्लिश नहीं कर पाई। और तीसरी बात मुझे जो लगता है जो इतना वक्त लगा है इस ट्रायल वो बहुत इनऑर्डिनेट डिले है। वो इतना डिले क्यों हुआ? और मुझे लगा कि कई बार प्रोसिक्यूशन की तरफ से भी ऐसे विटनेस एग्जामिन किए गए जो हॉस्टाइल होते रहे। अब मुझे लगता है कि इस प्रकार से ट्रायल खींची गई, लंबी टाइम वक्त चली, परिणाम आरोपी को बेनिफिट ऑफ डाउट का फायदा मिल गया।
ये सिर्फ पॉलिटिकल नैरेशन था और कुछ भी नहीं था। और जो आपका जो आतंकवाद का विषय था ऐसा कोई विषय है नहीं। और कोर्ट ने आज साबित कर दिया है कि 17 साल के बाद कि ये कोई घटना इन लोगों से की गई नहीं है।
जो 17 साल पहले जो एविडेंस था उसी तरह जो 2016 में NIA का चार्जशीट आया था उसमें जो कोई भी मटेरियल था उसी के बेस पे आज कोर्ट ने फैसला सुनाया है। कोर्ट ने ये कहा है कि इस केस में RDX कहाँ से लाया गया, किसने लाया, कहाँ बॉम्ब असेंबल किए, RDX कहाँ प्लांट किया गया था, ऐसे कोई भी चीजें प्रोसिक्यूशन प्रूव नहीं कर पाई है।
भगवा आतंकवाद देखो, जिन्होंने भगवा आतंकवाद ये नैरेटिव गढ़ने की कोशिश की थी पी चिदम्बरम जी ने, उन्होंने ही 2 दिन पहले ये भी कहा था कि ये जो पहलगाम में हमला हुआ, ये हमले के पीछे जो आतंकवादी थे वो पाकिस्तान से आए थे। क्या सबूत है वो पाकिस्तान से आए थे? मतलब इनडायरेक्टली उनको ये कहना था कि ये भारत में ही आतंकवादी थे या भारतीय लोगों को ही आतंकवादी कह रहे थे। ये भी सवाल मेरे को उनको पूछना है, कांग्रेस को पूछना है। तो ये अलग अलग नैरेटिव गढ़ने का काम, अपनी नाकामी का भी, आतंकवाद को खत्म करने की नाकामी, उसके पीछे छुपने के लिए, वोट बैंक की राजनीति के लिए इन्होंने भगवा आतंकवाद ये शब्द नया नैरेटिव कॉइन करने की कोशिश 2008 में की थी। लेकिन हिंदू कभी आतंकवादी हो नहीं सकता। ये परसों हमारे गृह मंत्री अमित भाई शाह इन्होंने भी लोकसभा में कहा। तो आज जो सच है वो सच लोगों के सामने आया है।
फैसला जो आया है, फैसला कोर्ट में सुनकर तो बहुत तबीयत दुख हुई, क्योंकि 29 सितंबर 2008 को जो है वहाँ पर बम ब्लास्ट हुआ था, लोगों ने देखा है और सैकड़ों से ज़्यादा लोग जख्मी हुए थे, 5 से 7 लोग जो है शहीद हुए थे। ये गवर्नमेंट इसको माना है, गवर्नमेंट ने उनको 2 लाख रुपया मुआवजा दिया और जो सीरियस इंजरी थे उनको 50,000 का मुआवजा दिया गया। तो 10 नंबर का जो एक्यूज है वो बोलता है कि वहाँ बम ब्लास्ट हुआ ही नहीं है, लेकिन बम ब्लास्ट हुआ है तब तो इतने सालों जो है ये चला है।
देखो, सच्चाई की जीत हो रही है। 17 साल से केस शुरू था, केस चालू था, तभी भी बहुत से आर्मी ऑफिसर ने बोला था कि ATS के दबाव के कारण हम लोगों ने बयान दिया था। लेकिन आज दूध का दूध और पानी का पानी हो गया। कांग्रेस गवर्नमेंट हिंदू दहशतवाद ये नाम लेके लोगों में गलतफहमी घुमाने के लिए इसी तरह का कार्रवाई उन्होंने की थी। आज ये कार्रवाई सबसे झूठ थी, ये सबके सामने आ रही है।
आज 17 साल बाद बहुत ज्यादा प्रताड़ना सहन करने के बाद, प्रदीर्घ विलंब और प्रतीक्षा के बाद 323 विटनेसेस पूरी तरह से माननीय न्यायालय के सामने गवाही देने के बाद, 40 विटनेस प्रोसिक्यूशन के हॉस्टाइल होने के बाद, 40 विटनेसेस महत्वपूर्ण विटनेसेस ड्रॉप होने के बाद, 40 और विटनेसेस दिवंगत होने के बाद आज कहीं पर न्याय होगा और इस पूरे मुकदमे में को पूर्ण विराम मिलेगा, ऐसी अपेक्षा है। और माननीय न्यायालय न्याय करेगा, क्योंकि हमारे खिलाफ कोई सबूत नहीं थे। तो सबूतों के मतलब पूरे विषय को मद्देनजर रखते हुए आज न्याय होगा और सारे अभियुक्तों को निर्दोष मुक्तता मिलेगी, ऐसा हमारा मानना है।
एटीएस बोलेंगे दोषी हैं, एटीएस ने बोला ना 7-11 वाले दोषी हैं, हाई कोर्ट ने बोल दिया निर्दोष हैं, बराबर है ना। तो एटीएस क्लेम करती है, क्लेम का सपोर्ट क्या है? क्लेम करना एक बात है और क्लेम के सपोर्ट में एविडेंस देना दूसरी बात है। तो क्या एविडेंस दिया है? तो उनका एविडेंस खोखला है, कुछ नहीं है, इसलिए केस मकोका हट गया। यूएपीए है वो भी गायब हो गया, बचा क्या? उम्मीद पूरी है और केवल इतना ही है, उम्मीद यही है न्यायमूर्ति न्याय देंगे और सत्य की जीत होगी।
Okay, so Smita, we were talking about how Col Purohit was framed. How did it also affect you, Smita?
Well, I would not like to keep it too much on me today. It's a day of catharsis. It's a day of vindication for Col Purohit and the others who were accused. But yes, you see, this is where the whole thing comes in. I didn't do anything. I'm not part of any investigation team or anything. I just had some facts which were floating in the public domain.
There's a bit of an audio problem with. Yes, Brijesh, you wanted to come in.
I think it'd be interesting to ask Smita about how exactly Col Purohit was chosen as a target. What exactly led to him being chosen as a target?
That's a very good
because
question.
There would be several people in military, as military intelligence and others who are doing the kind of work which Lieutenant Colonel Purohit was doing. So it'll be interesting to find out, because I haven't read the book, but it'll be interesting to find out how he was chosen as the target and to implicate him in this Malegaon blast case. The second case is, as one of the person rightly pointed out, one of the sound bites which had come, that if it was not planted on a motorcycle, then where exactly the bomb was planted. And I think once the details of the order comes out, then we'll be in a much better position to flesh out the details. But yes, interesting thing is that as you were talking about politics, you said that saffron terror theory got completely debunked. But Asaduddin Owaisi has asked a question: then how did 6 people die? And he said that will tough on terror Prime Minister immediately, the secular government will immediately appeal this verdict in the higher court. So politics has already started.
Okay, I'm also joined by Professor Ashok Tandon, sir. Are you there with me? Am I audible to you, sir?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, your opening comments on the Malegaon blast verdict, sir?
First of all, I think it's a very important observation by the court that there is no religion of terrorism and no religion advocates terrorism. So that merely on the basis of the circumstantial evidence, the court cannot declare anybody a victim or a culprit. So therefore, in the absence of solid evidence, which the NIA have failed to provide, therefore the acquittal has taken place. That does not mean that the bomb blast did not occur. Therefore, the court has, as somebody was asking, that now they have in fact asked ATS that there should be an inquiry into Sudhakar Chaturvedi's case, because it was the plea of the prosecution that Chaturvedi's residence there was an RDX, and which was now there picked up by Col Purohit. For that there is no evidence, but the fact remains that there needs to be a further inquiry into the role of Mr. Chaturvedi. So I think compensation which the court has, declared, that is also, I think, some relief to the victim families, that 2 lakh each to the those injured and 50,000 each as compensation. But as somebody was very rightly pointing out, that the victim side has all the rights to go to the higher court and appeal. So, but the fact remains, which we are discussing right now, is that in the absence of evidence against all these 7 accused, see, the acquittal has taken place. But nevertheless, the fact remains that the incident dictates.
हम सूरज से सिर्फ बिजली नहीं बनाते हैं, खुशहाली को देश के कोने कोने तक भी पहुंचाते हैं। अदानी हम करके दिखाते हैं।
बिग बास्केट में अब सब 10 मिनट में आता है।
इसमें कहने की आवश्यकता नहीं, कृति ही बोलती है। प्रमिलाताई गेल्या आमच्या डोक्यावरचं छत्र हरपल्यासारखी भावना आमची झालेली आहे. त्यांनी निष्ठापूर्वक इतके वर्षाचे समितीचं काम केलं, त्यात त्यांनी परिश्रमाचा, समर्पणाचा सगळेच आदर्श आपल्या जीवनाने आमच्या समोर उभे केलेले आहेत. त्या आता असणार नाहीत, त्यांच्या तर त्या अधिकारामुळे त्यांना सद्गती मिळणारच आहे. आम्हाला धैर्य मिळो अशीच प्रार्थना आम्ही करतो.
धन्यवाद. Rashid Alvi is with us, former Congress MP, a senior leader. Mr. Alvi, are you there with me?
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Alvi, thank you for being with us. So my question to you is, what is now the position of the Congress on the issue of saffron terror?
I have not gone through this judgment. Let us go through this judgment. But as I remember, after arguments on last date, court came to this conclusion. Court has found them guilty. If court had found them guilty, then at the time of judgment, acquittal has taken place. How can it be possible? On one side, if court decided that they are guilty, and now at the time of judgment, court says that there is no crime against these 2-3 persons or whatever they are. So it is very surprising for me. If they were not guilty, why last time court said that they are guilty? And if they are guilty, then it was the day to announce sentence. And rather they have given a judgment they are not guilty. So it is surprising for me. And I am sure if such kind of judgments will come, then people of this country can raise so many questions as far as judiciary is concerned. But still, NIA has a right to go in appeal. Now let us see whether they go to appeal or they are satisfied with the judgment.
These people were framed to coin a certain type of politics which was called saffron terror, and Sadhvi Pragya Thakur, Lieutenant Colonel Purohit were being framed, and the court says that we don't find any evidence, no cogent evidence.
Why this court? If I remember, I may be wrong. This is the same court which said that they are found guilty. And now at the time of judgment they say no, they are not guilty. So how can it be? And now you and me both will see whether government is going in appeal or not. And we know it very well that Pragya was the member of Parliament of Bharatiya Janata Party. So they are giving a wrong impression to the people of this country. So it is, I am very sorry to say that if they were found guilty, then how can court may decide otherwise now?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alvi. You are saying that the wrong impression is being given. Let me play out the bite of Digvijay Singh, and then I am going to go back to Mr. Ashok Tandon. I am going to go back to Smita Mishra, who has written a book on Lieutenant Colonel Purohit. Reni continues to be with me, and Brijesh continues to be with me. Let me play out the bite of Digvijay Singh.
हिंदू आतंकवादी हो सकता है, न मुसलमान हो सकता है, न सिख हो सकता है, न ईसाई होता है। केवल कुछ लोग होते हैं जो कि धर्म को नफरत की तरह उसका हथियार उपयोग करते हैं, वही आतंकवाद को जन्म देता है।
Okay, so let me ask a political question to Professor Ashok Tandon. Sir, does terror has a color?
No, certainly not. Certainly not. See, first of all, let me answer the question raised by my previous speaker, I think apparently some Congress leader. This is not the first time that any court having found somebody guilty and they get acquitted in the higher court. And I think this is the legal judicial procedure. And the option of going to a further higher court is always there. So one should not say that how could a lower court, finding somebody guilty could be acquitted in the subsequent higher court. So this is a normal judicial process. So one should not impute any motive into it that why this time acquittal has taken place. All the time there is, an opening for the government, the prosecution side, and even the relatives of the victims also to go to the higher court. So I think let the judicial process take its own course, and in future we will know where this case stands when it reaches even the Supreme Court. Now, having said that, see, labeling terrorism with any religion or color, I think is not fair, because all over the world we see terrorism has no faith, no color, no religion, even no nationality. Because the kind of terrorism taking place in different parts of the world, you can't identify terrorists and put them in black and white. They are not one. But the fact remains, terrorism in itself is a curse on the society, and therefore India having
For a minute, sir, I'm really sorry. On NIA, the bite of the lawyer, the victim is coming. So let's just let me play out that bite, sir.
देशाच्या मंदिरामध्ये संसदेमध्ये केंद्रीय गृहमंत्र्यांनी एक वक्तव्य केलेलं होतं की हिंदू कधी आतंकवादी असू शकत नाही. त्याच्यावर आज माननीय विशेष NIA सत्र न्यायालयाने शिक्कामोर्तब केलेला आहे. आज ATS नी दाखल केलेल्या या खटल्यावर प्रचंड रोष माननीय न्यायालयाने दाखवलेला आहे. आजचं जे जजमेंट आहे, जो निकाल आहे, तो 1000 पानांहून जास्त गेलेला आहे. त्याच्यामधले आज माननीय न्यायालयाने जे मूळ बिंदू सांगितलेले आहेत ते फक्त तुम्हाला सांगतो. सर्वप्रथम बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट घडला हे सत्य आहे, पण आरोपींनी तो एका षडयंत्राअंतर्गत घडवून आणला याचा कोणताही पुरावा माननीय न्यायालयासमोर तपास यंत्रणांनी दाखल केलेला नाही व दाखल करू शकली नाही. हा सगळ्यात मोठा भाग. याच्यातला दुसरा भाग, आणि मला आनंद आहे हे आपल्याला सांगताना की तो युक्तिवाद आम्ही केलेला होता की याच्यामध्ये जे इंजुरी सर्टिफिकेट, जे लोक जखमी झालेले होते ते 101 इंजुरी सर्टिफिकेट्स जे बनवले गेले ते 100% फोर्स आणि फॅब्रिकेटेड, म्हणजे बनावट बनवले गेलेले.
Okay. Now let me go across to Brijesh Pandey, then I'll go to Smita Mishra, and then I'll go to Professor Tandon.
I think a very interesting bite which has come from Parliament. Renuka Chaudhary, who's a member of Parliament of Congress, she has said that ये तो होना ही था. कल जो अमित शाह ने कहा था, समझदार को इशारा ही काफी है, टेरर करने वालों का कोई धर्म नहीं होता. So it's very clear that that there's no one line as far as the Congress is concerned. They are still trying to insinuate that there's more to it than what meets the eye as far as this particular judgment is concerned.
Okay, let me go across to Dr. Tandon. Can you please complete your point, then I'll go to Smita.
I was trying to say is that terrorism is being faced in different parts of the world. Having said that, when we come to the terrorism in India, which we have been facing for the last so many decades, it is apparently coming from across the border. So therefore, we always identify Pakistan as the source of terrorism into India. But we never attribute terrorism from across the border to any color or any religion. We say terrorist is a terrorist. He can belong to any religion or maybe, any part of the world. So we never know. Some of the terrorists which are, operating from across the border into India, some of them may be even trained somewhere else. Like there are reports that they are getting trained in some of the other countries as well. So I think terrorism should be identified as an evil by the entire international community, and the United Nations also sees terrorism as an evil without labeling it in terms of any religion or any color. So therefore, this particular case, right from the beginning, the UPA government and the then ministers were also, they deliberately were calling it Bhagwa, saffron terrorism. So nobody calls terrorism as the rightly the court has also said, the terrorism has no religion. So therefore, terrorism should be dealt with as terrorism, and terrorists should also be treated as terrorists, not belonging to any particular community, religion, or region also. So that is exactly what I think the court has very specifically said. Let's not treat terrorism as linked with any particular religion. And that is exactly what perhaps the court has done. Now, the question is, there is an opening for the prosecution and the victims' families also to approach the higher court and try to get court, the case to be admitted. But the court itself has also said they have ordered ATS to initiate a probe into the matter of planting of explosive in the house of accused Sudhakar Chaturvedi. So that means the court is also, they are also of the view that some areas or some segments of the prosecution, they have not done proper job. So therefore, further this initiating a probe and also, allowing the acquittal on the ground that no substantial evidence could be produced before the court. So in the absence of a solid evidence, the acquittal has taken place. There is no other merit or demerit into the acquittal of this case.
Okay. Smita, are you there with me?
Yes.
So does terror has a color, ma'am?
Terror most certainly does not have a color, but when terror incidents are projected, are prepared, they are conspired in a manner, but predetermined purpose, then color, then what can we do? In this case, there were just two major points the agencies had against Col Purohit as an accused. Number one, killing the IS, that is one, stored at some place which was in his custody, and his relations with Abhinav Bharat. Both of these were totally fabricated cases. It is my view that when Coca was dropped, that was the time this Malegaon blast case should have been finished with altogether, because each of the evidences that were raised against them were proved to be false. But somehow there was a feeling that it had to go on. Anyway, now that is past us. What I want to say here, neither the relation of Colonel Purohit with the so-called Bharat, it was always a very special, a very suspicious theory. Nothing could be established. At the time Colonel Purohit was speaking on the phone with seniors, keep them totally in the loop about what he is doing, penetrate further into the jihadi network, which were planning dangerous attacks in our country. At that time, those phone calls were totally ignored. The fact he keeping his scenes in the loop and was all done through official, official action.
Smita, I think there's a bit of an audio problem. We'll try to fix that audio problem with you. But going back to Mr. Tandon, sir, I think there's also a bit of an audio problem with Mr. Tandon. Reni, now the whole debate on the saffron terror is taking place besides the point. But there are questions then. Were they targeted? Why were they picked up? There are some, I would say, unresolved issues associated with Malegaon. Why them? How did this happen, you know? Those are some unresolved issues.
Question of ATS probe findings. I mean, I completely agree with Reni when he started the argument by saying that, you know, this is the second time in as many days, you know, when the investigation done by Mumbai ATS has come under such sharp criticism. The train blast case, the train blast case is one such example, and today is the second time, you know, the entire investigation has been done away by the court.
Reni, to you, do you agree with what Brijesh is saying?
You know, both of you are dead on what you said just now. See, the fact of the matter is that we have seen these cases consistently being, you know, it depends on who's in the political dispensation of power. I mean, that seems to be the lesson we are learning out here. May I point out here, earlier in the morning, I had cited on your channel, Kartikeya, that Sadhvi Pragya Thakur had been subjected to, you know, third-degree torture methods and mental harassment, where she was forced to watch, you know, X-rated and porn films in the ATS while under ATS custody, particularly by former disgraced Commissioner of Police of Mumbai and Thane, Parambir Singh. Now, this was a fact that had been played up, you know, right after she got bail a few years later, a few years earlier, and then she, you know, was elected as Member of Parliament also. So the real question here is that when are we going to get to the bottom of the facts of the ATS investigations or the discrepancies in their investigations, and how, I mean, if RDX was getting planted, there could be no more serious kind of a thing. Having said that, allow me to slightly disagree with Smita, who has written on it, because my information from the Mumbai crime branch at the time that was investigating Col Purohit and the others revealed some very interesting aspects. You see, in those days, we were seeing a lot of terror attacks, either by Simi or Indian Mujahideen, that were, you know, creating havoc across India. You know, you had the serial train blasts in Mumbai, then there was a bomb blast in Rajasthan, Hyderabad, and even Gujarat, Ahmedabad, to be particular. And at that time, the ATS of Gujarat, the ATS of Rajasthan, and the ATS of Hyderabad had written to the ATS of Maharashtra, you know, in 2008, when they had arrested Sadiq and the other, you know, accused in those bomb blasts, because they had owned up to the serial train blasts as well. However, the Mumbai ATS and the Maharashtra ATS, for strange reasons, did not take cognizance. And as a result, we saw 12 of those accused booked by the ATS being acquitted by...
Reni, just stay with me. I'm also joined by Aniket Nikam, Advocate, Bombay High Court. Your opening comments on the Malegaon blast case, sir? Mr. Nikam? Mr. Nikam, are you there with me? I think the phone is disconnected. Reni, I'll come with you. Let me play out a couple of other bites which we have got.
भी इससे प्रभावित है, वो जरूर अपील करेंगे।
बीजेपी कह रही है कि हिंदू आतंकवाद का जो कांग्रेस ने बनाया था वो सब शिकूफा फेल हो गया। हिंदू आतंकवाद,
देखो, ये बीजेपी कुछ भी कहे, अंत में कोर्ट का फैसला है और ये अपीलेबल है, इसका अपील जरूर करेंगे।
गृह मंत्री आके क्या स्टेटमेंट दिए हैं पार्लियामेंट में। मैं सबसे पहले मैं ये कहना चाह रही हूँ कि जो टेरर अटैक करते हैं उसका कोई मजहब नहीं होता है, ये मान के हम चले हैं दुनिया भर में, और अचानक यहाँ आके हम हिंदू मुसलमान टेरर भी बन जाते हैं। तो ये जो कह रहे हैं ये गलत है, और ये होना ही था। हमने भी समझा जब वो लोग ने इशारा कर दिया, अक्लमंद को इशारा कर।
हाँ, भगवा आतंकवाद देखो, जिन्होंने भगवा आतंकवाद ये नैरेटिव गढ़ने की कोशिश की थी पी चिदम्बरम जी ने, उन्होंने ही 2 दिन पहले ये भी कहा था कि ये जो पहलगाम में हमला हुआ, ये हमले के पीछे जो आतंकवादी थे वो पाकिस्तान से आए थे। क्या सबूत है वो पाकिस्तान से आए थे? मतलब इनडायरेक्टली उनको ये कहना था कि ये भारत में ही आतंकवादी थे या भारतीय लोगों को ही आतंकवादी कह रहे थे? ये भी सवाल मेरे को उनको पूछना है, कांग्रेस को पूछना है। तो ये अलग अलग नैरेटिव गढ़ने का काम, अपनी नाकामी का भी, आतंकवाद को खत्म करने की नाकामी, उसके पीछे छुपने के लिए, वोट बैंक की राजनीति के लिए इन्होंने भगवा आतंकवाद ये शब्द, नया नैरेटिव कॉइन करने की कोशिश 2008 में की थी। लेकिन हिंदू कभी आतंकवादी हो नहीं सकता। ये परसों हमारे गृह मंत्री अमित भाई शाह इन्होंने भी लोकसभा में कहा। तो आज जो सच है वो सच लोगों के सामने आया है।
देर आया दुरुस्त आया, न्याय होना था। जिनको गलत ढंग से फंसाया गया था, राजनीति के तहत फंसाया गया था, वो भी बड़ी गंदी राजनीति, हिंदू टेररिज्म जैसे वर्ड का यूज किया गया था कांग्रेसियों और विरोधियों के द्वारा। ये बड़े शर्म की बात है। मुझे लगता है कि आज जिस ढंग से न्यायालय ने अपना फैसला दिया है, इनको शर्म करनी चाहिए, इनको पूरे देश से माफी मांगनी चाहिए। और मुझे नहीं लगता है कि इस फजीयत के बाद वो फिर दोबारा ऐसी गलती करेंगे।
जिस तरह से एविडेंसेस, इसमें सबसे पहला सवाल खड़ा होता है कि किस तरह से आप किसी को अगर पकड़ते हो, किसी को आप अगर एक्यूज को ये करते हो, तो एविडेंस के बिना कैसे करते हो? लॉ इन्फोर्सिंग एजेंसीज बस ऐसे ही तो उनको ये नहीं दायित्व दिया नहीं गया कि भाई ऐसा हादसा हो गया तो इसके बदले में आप कुछ बताना है तो किसी को भी ले लो, किसी को भी ढांप लो, और उसके बाद में एविडेंसेस की बात आती है, जब कोर्ट पूछता है, सवाल जवाब होते हैं, आपकी जांच जो में जांच में आपके सामने आया वो अगर नहीं कर सके तो वो पूरा खारिज हो जाता है। और इस तरह से फिर वो एक्यूज जिनको 17 साल 15 साल जिनको गुजारना पड़ा, उनके परिवार वालों को आपका जवाब है?
बंबई का हमला, बंबई के हमले के बाद आज ये दिग्विजय सिंह चले गए हैं। उन्होंने कहा है तो आरएसएस ने कराया था। मान्यवर, क्या बोल रहे हैं? किसके लिए बोल रहे हैं? किसको बचा रहे हैं? क्या कहना चाहते हैं? और हिंदू टेरर का सगुफा किसने छोड़ा? मैं आज दुनिया के सामने, देश की जनता के सामने गर्व से कहता हूं कि हिंदू कभी टेररिस्ट नहीं हो सकता।
So now let me go back to Smita. Smita, I hope your audio has been perfected. You were trying to complete a point, Smita?
No, so I was just saying that, actually this entire Malegaon case, let us for a moment leave the fact that it was all a conspiracy. Even after it was under investigation, the point, that milestone where the makoka was dropped against the accused, that was the time this case should have ended for good in the law courts, because each of the evidences, do you know that there were eyewitnesses who saw one ASI of the ATS planting, rubbing that explosive, which now has been found that it was not even RDX. So you see, the whole story falls flat on its face. Similarly, the Abhinav Bharat connection, it was not what it was made out to be, but that is the whole problem. When you play politics with the security of the country, what happens is the real perpetrators of crime, they either find a safe passage or they get a long row. Look at the Samjhauta case blast. Arif Kasmani admitted on record that he was the one who got all the logistics for the blast, and Safdar Nagauri at that time admitted that with the help of people handlers in Pakistan, he prepared that whole conspiracy to spoil the relationship between India and Pakistan, which was, sort of improving at that time. And then after all these admissions, you label it as a Hindu terror. Same goes for Malegaon blast. It took 17 years to get justice, and yet we don't know who actually conducted.
Smita, I just wanted to ask you a question, because you have covered the case in detail. You have also must have spoken to the family and everyone. One interesting question still remains unanswered, and I just want to understand. Why was Colonel Purohit picked up as a target? Why exactly him and why nobody else?
Colonel Purohit was picked up as the target because not only is he one of the finest intel officers of the country, I think the country can still make up for the damage that has been done to his career and his reputation by, giving him some responsibility. Nobody can identify the enemies of the nation like him. He is one of the finest of
Surprise!
Wow, Kinder Joy! Batman! Let's go, Batman!
अब बैट व्हील्स के टॉय सरप्राइजेस हर किंडर जॉय में।
Visas at ₹1 to almost anywhere in the world. Atlas One Way Out sale only on 4th and 5th August.
By the skin of his teeth, or else this whole story would have been gone and it would have, the Hindu terror would have been established as a truth forever in this country. And therefore, I believe, because Kartikeya just pointed out that there are still certain unsolved, questions which remain. To get those questions to be solved and answered, the only way is to conduct a new investigation into the role of the people who were in the ATS at that time in Mumbai and Maharashtra ATS. Unfortunately, few of them are not with us anymore, but the investigation can still be conducted because, as I told you, there are eyewitnesses who saw ASI Bagre rubbing that explosive in Sudhakar's room, which was later told that it was used as a storage. Similarly, the whole story about Colonel Purohit trying to work with Abhinav Bharat was actually a clear misrepresentation of facts. Colonel Purohit was working in consonance with few social organizations because, you see, he was an army officer. He could not expose himself in certain matters. But he was doing it with full sanction of the top leadership of the army. And that was twisted because facts were suppressed. Those phone calls were not given in the evidence. So one by one, only two things actually made a case against Colonel Purohit. His association with Abhinav Bharat and procuring the RDX, both of them have been now nipped in the bud. It was a lie. The RDX was planted not by Colonel Purohit, but some other powerful people on the orders of powerful people sitting in Mumbai. And the whole story, if you look at it in entirety, the Hindu terror conspiracy was prepared here in North Block with people in power at that time.
Andy, please complete your point. I'm sorry, a couple of times I had to really break in to your conversation. You were saying that there are other aspects which need to be discussed also. Rennie.
Yes, like I was pointing out, and a nice thing that Smita raised the point about Abhinav Bharat. See, Kartikeya, what I understood and learned from the investigating sleuths of the Mumbai crime branch at the time was they came to the understanding that Abhinav Bharat was an organization of people who were very nationalistic in their belief systems, and they were very upset by the several jihadi terror instances that were being witnessed across the country, and that was their basic intention. And as the crime branch officer told me, Rennie, the Abhinav Bharat is inspired by the Chafekar Bandhu or Chafekar brothers, who were, similarly designated as a criminal organization by the British government of those days before freedom was achieved. And so the same thing ironically happened with Abhinav Bharat, the reaffirmed nationalist organization that was raising its voice against all this jihadi terror that was being witnessed by India. So it's quite ironic and sad that, sentiments of nationalism came to be tackled in this way, and they got kind of besmirched and tarnished in their reputation as being terror outfits, which was not the case, as Smita correctly points out. It was just a social organization of concerned people based out of Pune, where the Chafekar Bandhu or the Chafekar brothers had been based out of in the pre-independence days under the British rule as well. So this, you may call it trivia, but it also tells you that there was a deliberate strategy. And Smita is absolutely right in asking for a reprobe, not only into the cases, but into the police officials at the date. And she is right. There are some who are no longer here. But somebody has to answer why the Maharashtra and Mumbai ATS rejected the, written submissions by the Hyderabad ATS, the Rajasthan ATS, and the Gujarat ATS in the serial train blast case 2 years before that. Why did they not take cognizance? That gentleman who was accused of, who had owned up to that, Sadiq, he was acquitted, he was convicted in the Ahmedabad blast, and he had owned up to the serial train blast. But he was never made an accused in the serial train blast by the ATS. So these kind of anomalies of investigation, which I would call and term as deliberate manipulations, Hindu terror had to be created as a narrative in India. And it didn't matter that there were so many jihadi terror acts which was, claiming innocent lives. But the agenda of the day, and as I pointed out earlier, Karthike, the ACS home telling me, Rennie, the police establishment is only a
Rennie, you continue to be with me. I have to take a short break because on the other side, my colleague will join. This rolling coverage on Malegaon blast will continue. Brijesh Pandey is going to be in the studio with you. Someone who has covered RSS and BJP for more than 2 decades. And not only that, he has also done investigation reporting, which very few political people have, or political reporters have, to just put it bluntly. So he will give you the, a sort of a synergized view of the politics of saffron terror and the investigation, the minor details. And what happened? Why did the court say that, there is no cogent investigation? Why was Purohit was being picked up? As Smita, someone who has written the book, said that, he was being targeted maybe because he stumbled on something big. All that with my colleague Sambhya after a short break, but the rolling coverage continues.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर एंकर टूथपेस्ट, नए जमाने की नई सुरक्षा।
फिर ये डुगडुगी गई कहाँ? पापा के साथ साथ सारे सपने भी चले गए। और अपने बच्चों के सपनों के साथ ऐसा कुछ नहीं होने देना। वो कैसे? पहले से लाइफ इंश्योरेंस का टर्म प्लान ले रखा था। अरे बड़े भैया,
सपनों को रखो सुरक्षित टर्म प्लान के साथ। सबसे पहले लाइफ इंश्योरेंस।
पढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया।
ड्रामा मतलब बेबो, स्वीटेस्ट मतलब लोलो, पार्टी मतलब जेलो, और 10 मिनट्स मतलब बिग बास्केट।
येलो।
10 मिनट्स मतलब बिग बास्केट, 10 मिनट्स मतलब बिग बास्केट।
What is to the nines? In literal terms, it's perfection. But to us, it's not just a phrase, it's an attitude. One that starts at your desk and sends a statement to the world. To the nines is about taking charge. It's a way of life where every seam, every fold, is crafted with excellence. It's timeless elegance and uncompromising quality made for the corner office. It's the ideas that inspire redefining order and elevating the tabletop. To the nines, for the leaders of today and the visionaries of tomorrow.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर एंकर टूथपेस्ट, नए जमाने की नई सुरक्षा।
Light, camera, and action. Kick back, relax, grab your.
I think we lost connection with Mr. Ram Kadam over there as well, but I would like to thank Ram Kadam and Shaina NC for joining the chat here at News9, providing their perspective of the case. Of course, all eyes are going to be on that 17-year-old Malegaon blast case. The verdict will be out any time now. The big breaking news of the hour is that the judge has said that there's a huge difference between ATS and NIA charges. The prosecution failed to prove bomb placed on a motorcycle. Remember, the motorcycle was named, in fact registered under Sadhvi Pragya, because of which she was